Triumphant Kids Corner!
It's Sunday Fun Day!
Welcome to Triumphant Kids Corner. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.
Before we dive right into our story time, as always, let's go right into our lessons. Sorry again for the black and white, but for my 2 to 5-year-olds, this is your activity sheet, and your story title is Joesph Loved His Brothers. For my 1st to 3rd graders, this is what your activity sheet looks like, and you have the same story title. For my 4th to 6th graders, you also have the same story title, and this is what your activity sheet looks like. All right, guys, grab your stories, grab a seat, and let's get ready for story time. Enjoy.
Joesph lived with his family in Canaan. He had 11 brothers. Joesph took care of sheep with his brothers. Jacob, Joseph's father, made a special coat of many colors for Joesph. He loved Joesph more than the other brothers. The brothers did not like Joesph because of this. The brothers sold Joesph to some men who took Joesph to Egypt to live. Joesph grew up and now had an important job of selling grain to all people who needed food. When his brothers came to buy food, Joesph knew them, but they did not know him. Joesph sold grain to his brothers, and they returned home. Later, the brothers came back for more grain, and this time Joesph said, "I am your brother, Joesph." The brothers were afraid because of what they had done when Joesph was younger, but Joesph showed love to them. Joesph told his brothers to not be afraid. Joesph said he loved them and wanted all of the families, including their father, to move to Egypt. Joesph made sure everyone in the family had food to eat. Joesph loved and cared for his family.
Jacob had 12 sons, but he loved his son Joseph the most. When Joseph's brothers saw how much Jacob loved Joseph, they hated him. One day, Joseph's brothers were away watching their father's flocks. When they saw Joseph coming, they immediately began to plot against him. "Let's throw Joseph in a pit," said the oldest brother Reuben. When Joseph arrived, they stripped off his colorful robe and threw him into a pit. Later, a trader caravan came by. The brothers sold Joseph to the traders for 20 pieces of silver, and the traders took Joseph to Egypt. The brothers sent Joseph's robe to their father. Jacob recognized it and thought that a wild animal had killed Joseph. Many years passed, and Joseph was thrown into prison because someone told a lie about him. Later, when Joseph explained the dreams of the Pharaoh, the king, Pharaoh made Joseph a ruler in Egypt. He stored up food so the people of Egypt could survive a famine. During the famine, Jacob learned that there was grain in Egypt. He said to his sons, "Go down there and buy some food that we will live." Jacob did not allow his youngest son, Benjamin, to go. So 10 of Jacob's sons traveled to Egypt. When they came to the man in charge, they bowed down before him. The brothers did not realize that the man was actually Joesph, their brother. Even though Joseph recognized them, he did not reveal who he was right away. Instead, he sent them home and ordered them to come back with Benjamin. The next time Jacob's sons returned to Egypt, they brought Benjamin and came before the man in charge once again. This time, when Joseph saw his youngest brother, he could no longer remain calm. He cried and said, "I am Joesph, your brother, the one you sold into Egypt." When Joseph's brothers heard this news, they were terrified. Joesph comforted them and said, "Don't be worried or angry with yourselves for selling me. It was God who sent me ahead to save lives during this famine. It was God who gave me favor with Pharaoh and all of Egypt." Then Joesph threw his arms around Benjamin, and they wept together. Joesph promised to take care of his brothers Welcome back, and I hope you guys enjoyed your stories. Thank you to all my readers for reading those stories for us. We appreciate it every single Sunday. So let's dive right into our crafts. And today we're going to do one craft, but we're going to do it two different ways. So, we talked about Joesph and the love that he had for his brothers, no matter how jealous they were of him, no matter how badly they treated him, and all the things that Joesph had to go through. At the end of it all, Joesph remained and always loved his brothers, and he ended up saving them, saving his family, and taking care of his family. Everything that he went through prepared him to be that help for his family at the end of the day. So we're going to focus on one aspect of Joseph's life, and we know that Joesph was a favorite of his father, and he gave him a coat of many colors. So that is what our craft is going to be about today. So what you will need is tissue paper. Oh, my camera woman, you might want to turn on that second angle for me, please. I'll show through here. So I have tissue paper. I have different colors. Now, all the colors I was able to get was blue, red, pink, and green. I didn't have any orange or yellow. I thought I did, but I don't. Okay, so I cut my tissue paper up into squares. Okay? She's out of breath, guys. She's out of breath. I cut it up into squares. I have it in a plate. Now, these fly away, so I probably would hold it in a Ziploc bag or whatever excess. You always want to have more tissue paper than you need. Just store it in a Ziploc bag. And I'm going to provide in the description box the link to Joseph's coat. All right, so this one I didn't cut out, but you can cut it out. And what I'll do, I'll show you what I'll do with the cutout ones. All right, you're also going to need a water with the paintbrush. You're going to need glue. And I believe that is it. A marker as well. Oh, and any color construction paper. Because I didn't have any yellow or orange, my construction paper is going to be yellow. All right, so let's do the first one. So we're going to cut out Joseph's coat. Now, there are multiple ways you can do this. If your child wants to use a marker, let them go ahead. If they want to use watercolors or like the little paints in the trays, let them go ahead and do that and use all the colors in the world. Or if they want to use a tissue paper, which is what I'm going to show you, we are going to do that instead. All right, so we're going to take our clear glue, and let me make sure you can see. Is this good, camera woman? Thank you. So what I'm going to do, there's two ways you can glue down your tissue paper. I'm going to do zigzag on one side. I'm going to add glue and do like zigzag. Or you could do the dots. It doesn't really matter. It's all glue. Now this is looking more like a dotty zigzag, but that's okay. So we're going to do a lot. What you probably should do is glue the coat down first and then put the tissue paper on top, but that's okay. I didn't do that. You can do that. Now we're going to put on our tissue paper and let them, if they want to make it all one color, that's totally fine. But this part is for them to just have fun and decorate their coat. Another thing that they could do, instead of having it in squares, I'll show you. Sorry for the noise in the background. You can crumble up, and I'll show this camera. Crumble up, or not too small. Crumble up the tissue paper and probably open it back a little bit and just attach it. And that would add more of a 3D aspect to it. Let's get a different color. And this will take a lot more time. That's why I prefer the squares. It's bigger and it just moves faster. All right. Let's try to change up the colors a bit, and then any empty spots, you can just fill it in. Let's get some green. Almost finished, almost finished. Too much green, too much green. Okay, this one doesn't want to come off my finger, guys. And like I said, any empty spots, you will fill it in. Or your child will fill it in. So just take the glue and put it in the wet spots. Alrighty, so I didn't attach my coat to the construction paper as yet, but here is our coat of many colors. Can you see through there? Alright, and now, like I said, you glue it down first, but because I didn't, I'm going to do that now. So I'm going to hold it gently in my hand, and I'm going to glue the back of my coat, and I'm going to turn it over, as you can see. Try to center it. Alright, and there we have it. Now, you don't have to cut it out like I said earlier as well, because it has a title, it has a headline, so if you want to keep it on here, that is totally fine. But if you want them to do something like write their name on their construction paper or something else, if they want to design the construction paper and give them an extra element for this craft, that is totally fine. They can even crumble up the tissue paper. You could dot the glue around the border of the paper and let them attach the tissue paper there and make it like a nice mosaic kind of look, you know, artwork. And hang this in your house for at least a week, and then you could get rid of it, okay? Let them reminisce with it. All right, so this is the next part, and I'm going to do it on the paper that is not cut up. My favorite part, actually, and let's see, and hopefully this works. It's the first time trying this. This is where our water and our paintbrush comes in. Let me get another paper towel, and we are good to go. So you still need your tissue paper. I'm going to move this in front. Or should I put it beside me, actually? Let me put it back beside me. I'm going to need our tissue paper. And what we're going to do, we're going to layer, or actually, this is what I did. I took the wet paintbrush, and I picked up the tissue paper with the wet paintbrush, and I just kind of painted it onto the coat. Now, the thing is, because you're using all this water, it can make the paper really, you know, fragile. So, be extra careful with how much water you use. Make sure you use enough to cause an effect. The whole point of this, or for doing it this way, is to kind of create a watercolor, but instead of using paint, you're using tissue paper. So with the wet tissue paper, you let it dry onto the coat, and hopefully you'll start to see the color lift or the color attach to the white coat. My stomach is saying I'm hungry. Okay. So all we're going to do is paint. Try to separate it. And don't do it like me, because I keep putting the same colors nearby. But let them mix it up as much as possible. And you can layer it. dab in the water, and go back again. So as always, I always test out, my crafts at first, or try to. So I did one already, and I'm letting it dry. And I don't know of any color attached to the white part, but we'll test it out and see when we're finished here. All right, so now we are finished, and I'm going to gently pick this up because our paper is soaking wet, and here you have it. This is our, our watercolor coat. We're going to call it that. So you're going to let this dry for a few hours and see if the color from the tissue paper actually comes off. I normally see it with glue. When you glue it on, the color comes off. Let me take a peek at this. Is this working? It's not working, y'all. All right, so we're gonna give it some time. So let me show you what I did before, like the first tryout. So this is a little bit. It dried up a little bit. It's still fragile. It still needs to dry. Have it on paper towel to kind of absorb any extra moisture. Let's see. I don't think anything's stuck yet, guys. When it fully dries, I'll post it and show you guys how it looks. Okay? So we have the glued version and the water painted version. And that was it for our craft for today. I have just one craft and I just wanted to show you two different ways of doing it. And then you can even do it your basic ways of just coloring. Or if you have the tissue paper, you don't have to use the squares or make it into a square. You can do strips and let them go crazy with the lines, okay? So remember, this will be in the description box along with your lessons. And please make sure to follow us on YouTube and Facebook at the Triumphant Church of God. And you can also follow us on Instagram at triumphant.youth. Make sure to follow, make sure to tag us in anything that you do, anything that you post in regards to today's lesson. If you want to take this a step further or you found another craft, please tag us and let us know. We would love to see it. All right. Thank you guys again for joining us as always, and we'll see you next week Sunday. God bless and bye.